This was the first roll of film that I've ever developed. I want to have a better understanding of how film actually works. And if I just shoot it and I never develop it or I never scan it myself, I feel like there's a huge part that I'm not even understanding or getting to see. So I started off shooting and developing Ilford 3200. This is a film that I want to learn a lot more about. It's a very forgiving film stock and a very versatile film stock. You can shoot it rated at like 400 and you can shoot it rated at, I think, 6400 or something crazy. Because I need that type of range when I'm shooting wedding. While there's still light outside, but I also need to use it in those receptions when there's not much light. When we shoot a wedding, we give some previews right away. We select some images and send it to the client so that they have some of those images like a few days after their wedding to look at. And I would love to be able to develop some film like the next day or something and be able to include film shots in that preview. It takes weeks to send it to your lab, get it finished, and get the scans sent back to you. So I'm really excited about this process in terms of my business, but I'm really excited from just a personal perspective to be able to be a part of the entire process of making photographs.
Still see it, can't get it out of my mind. Started counting up the losses, weight sinking, water began to rise. Reaching in the darkness, I came here for an answer. Maybe it's time to surrender.
I really don't know anything about developing film. For me, it seemed easier just to get all the chemicals from one brand. So I went out to my local photography shop and picked up Ilford black and white kind of developing system. And so just to kind of like lay out the land for you, you first need a developer to develop the film. Then you need a thing that's like a stop bath, and that stops the developer from developing the film anymore. And then you have a fixer that fixes the image onto the film. And then the last thing I used was a wetting agent, and apparently this is supposed to help with the drying process so it doesn't have like streaks and stuff when you let it dry. I got a Patterson film tank. So this is the thing that you actually put the film inside to be able to develop the film. At the bottom of this Patterson tank, it says how much liquid you need in to develop the film. It said it needs 500 milliliters. And I read on each bottle, it tells you very clearly how much chemical you need to water, or like there's a ratio. So the developer was 1:4, for example. So I needed 100 millimeters of developer to 400 millimeters of water. Ilford also has a really helpful kind of information sheet that spells out like how long each chemical needs to be in the tank for. It also tells you how long all of these things need to run for how you shot the film. One thing that I definitely had to learn how to do was load the film by hand in the dark. So thankfully I actually had a wasted roll of Fuji 400 and I used that to practice loading the film in the daylight, and then I practiced it with my eyes closed so that by the time I was ready to do it, I was not too bad at it.
Ready, set, let's go.
So I took off my watch and my phone to make sure there was no stray light happening, and I went into our hallway closet, turned all the lights, put some curtains up to make sure there was no light coming through the door, and I loaded the film in the dark. It kind of took a little while, but it actually wasn't too bad because I had practiced it a few times. This is really cool. Like, it's one thing when you get the negatives back from the lab or whatever and they're already done, but like, it's really cool. It is like, yeah, it's crazy that it just kind of like, you pull it out of the thing and the photos are right here. So I'm like, this is really cool. Okay, I gotta go hang this up. In total, the developing only took me about 10 minutes, which is crazy. The whole process took me 2 hours, taking it very slowly and very methodically, but the actual developing of the film only took like 10-15 minutes of actual time. The only thing that I kind of forgot about was that like I hung it up to dry and then I was like, oh, how do I see these images? And then I realized I needed to scan them, and I was like, okay, I'll put it in my scanner. That's like a flatbed scanner. I've seen things on YouTube about that, but that's not the right type of, I just have like a scanner, like a random scan print copy thing. It does not work on film. I had an LED light and I diffused it with a few things and then took photos of the negatives with my camera and a macro lens. Not the ideal way to scan these images, but I was so eager to see them, I couldn't wait. If you want a list of everything that I bought and the process that I used and everything, I'm actually gonna put together a PDF that you can download. So check in the description below. I'm gonna have a link to where you can download kind of all the information that I got and put together so that if you're interested in trying this yourself, it at least gives you a starting point.